Hey, welcome to A Foreigner in the Philippines. Well, it's a good evening here for us. We've had an easy day at home. An early morning call, very early morning call this morning as daybreak was happening, but home fairly quickly, and so we've had a relaxing day, which has been a good thing. Now, one thing that is emerging, and that is this change in feelings towards our friend Alfred. Now, it's taking many different turns, but in fact it's very similar to the way that things happened with Mike, who came to visit Lena, and what's been happening is that as you guys give Alfred a chance to just to be himself, although in actual fact he doesn't see any of the criticisms, he doesn't see any of the suggestions, criticisms, observations, he doesn't see any of those. I'm just coming on here just to talk about some of them and see if I can add some further light on Alfred as a person. Now, just to quickly go over what his background was. He's lived for many years. He is a German. He has lived for many years in Thailand. He was in, I guess what you would call a common law marriage there. And what happened was that once he built a house single-handed, and it took him 2 years. And then the woman tried to take that. So what happened was 2 years where he actually owns nothing, because the law in Thailand is the same as in the Philippines. A foreigner is not allowed to own land. So he apparently went to court and he was awarded the house. But of course he can't be awarded the land, so he's in between a rock and a hard place. So he stayed there for a year, lived alone, and then he suddenly got an idea that he would come out to the Philippines. Well, he's been following our channel and felt that this was a place that he would like to be. So he showed up on our door in a tricycle with a suitcase and a bag. And he wanted to rent our guest house, and he wanted to rent it, and he offered the money. We told him, no, we don't do that. There was a little bit of decision making that happened. Beth especially felt some sympathy for him, that he was alone. He had just decided to just literally get on a plane and come out here. So, short story is that strange the way that things work. Life unfolds in its own particular way. He met Talia. Talia has 2 children. She has a young teenage girl, or bordering on teenage girl, Nizel, and a young boy, Nathaniel. So he actually met Talia. They talked, they hit it off, and they're in the process of seeing whether this is perhaps going to work between them. Amazingly, he's already been here about 2 weeks, which has gone very, very fast. So what has he been doing? Well, he is a man who has always wanted to be a farmer, and is apparently very experienced in that from what I see. Now, contrary to how I am, I'm a city boy, I'm a musician, I'm not a farmer. When I first came out here, I said I don't do yards and gardens. I build things, but I don't do the piggery, I don't do the chickens, I don't do gardening. It's just not my thing. So with that out of the way, I have progressed and done what you now know I've been doing, which is building up a channel. What's Alfred been doing? Well, Alfred's sat for a while looking at the scenery, and then he started looking around on our, what I always call is a scruffy little hilltop farm, and he decided that he would like to make it look a little bit better. Now, when he came, there were no conditions put on his stay. Come and stay, you can come and stay for a few days, and then just to get you grounded, and then we'll see how best we can help you. Well, the way that it worked out, he moved down to be with Talia. So now it's a case not of us making any kind of conditions, which we don't do anyway. If somebody comes and stays in our guest house, we don't make any conditions. We don't say, well, you've got to do you've got to wash the dishes and excuse me, you got to wash the dishes or clean somebody's boots or tidy up, or we don't do any of that. They come and we hope that they'll have a life-changing experience, which I think actually that our friend Alfred is actually having. So he decided upon his own, without supervision, without suggestions, and with a bare minimum of tools, a bolo and a rake, and he cleaned the area up right by the house that he is living in now, the little tiny house that used to belong to Lena, and he started getting it all cleaned up. He lit fires, got rid of the rubbish, and did a great job and has enjoyed doing it. Now that brings me to one of the criticisms and comments about Alfred, and that is he is a little taller than I am, but he's very slender build, and a lot of people thought that actually he didn't look well. Can I put something to you? For 3 days he has slogged almost the whole day, bending down, cutting grass, breaking stuff up, cutting wood, putting it on a fire. Pretty difficult work. It's not work that I would want to do. It's just, as I said, it's not my thing. But he has taken it on himself to do that, and has brought about huge change for the better on the landscape that is below and to the side of the pool deck and down to Lena and Talia's house. So he's been working hard. A lot of you observe that he is a hard worker, and it's absolutely true. But he's not complaining about aching and being in pain or his back or his what, even though he has said that he has a dodgy hip, which a lot of you have said, well, some of you have said, you know, for a certain amount of money he could have that hip replaced and be back in action very, very quickly. And I've seen that happen too. When you have a hip replaced, it's all cutting in, it's real butchery from what I've seen, but they have you on your feet the next day. So it's something that he could do at some point in the future. Have we suggested that to him? No, we haven't suggested that, and we haven't suggested any of the other things, including staying hydrated. If a man of his age, and having lived in the tropics for so many years, doesn't know to stay hydrated, who am I to start educating him now? So we've just let the whole thing unfold. Now, yesterday we actually found them on the way back from the school. I think that Talia took him to the school where she was helping clean up prior to the school opening after the summer holidays. Sure enough, Alfred was down there helping. Then he came back, we were not available, we were out or something. We met them on the way back, and and he came back in the tricycle, which he thought was quite an adrenaline rush. But he has settled in very well. For a lot of you that were a little bit, I thought, jaded on how you view him and how you view my relationship with him, it's not the hardship that you think. It was hard going at first because he needed to talk a great deal, and so I was left as just being the listener.